Hello everybody and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to talk about Games Workshop dropping the ball. Hello. So Warhammer Fest has been and gone, the dust is settled, the previews are out, the hype has died down, and now everyone is reflecting on the potentially awesome weekend. Or was it? So, it hasn't been good. So I've got a lot of friends who, some are content creators and some went over to Warhammer Fest and they were lucky enough, and I can only really speak from my experience of trying to get my tickets last year because I was planning to go at the event, but due to various circumstances I ended up having to cancel all my tickets and I didn't go. But one thing that I did notice straight away was how monetized the tickets were. Now let me explain. You could buy a single pass ticket and that would get you in for the day, or you could buy a 3-day pass which would get you in for like 40 quid or something, and you would get 3 days. But then there were like different levels of passes essentially, like premium and like the Emperor tier and all of this kind of stuff, and they all got relatively more expensive. I believe the Emperor Golden Throne ticket was over £1,000 anyway, and that sort of changed on your experiences of the event and the perks and things that you would get while you were there. Also, Golden Demon, you had to pay extra to get a ticket for Golden Demon on top of your ticket to get into the event. Now, that's the first issue straight away. But from what's been said and reported and the general consensus of everyone that was there is that the general feeling of the event was an absolute shit show. Now, just want to clarify straight away that at no point has anyone said that the staff were bad. Everyone has said how amazing the staff from Games Workshop on the ground were and how helpful they were, and how everyone that worked in the venue were really good. It was more the organization of the event and how the event was run and how was on offer at the event. So one of the biggest complaints that's been made has been the fact that it was being dubbed QueueFest, and that you were going to be waiting in a queue 2, 3, 4 hours at a time to do anything. And even then, if you were waited until the end of the day and coming back, you were still met with a 2-hour queue. And this was for everything from trying to play 40k, the new 10th edition, to going to the shop to go and play the new Bolter game, computer game, to try the Rogue Trader game, to even try to get into the auditorium to see the actual previews. And it seemed to be just an absolute cluster, and it was just terribly run. On the 40k side, to test out 10th edition, apparently there was only 5 tables. 5 tables for potentially thousands of people. That Games Workshop themselves had just hyped this up, that this was going to be your chance to play 40k. That's just stupid. There didn't seem to be any seats. There was seats put out later on, and every content creator and influencer, or don't even start me on the influence, we're going to be talking about them. You can guarantee that. Everyone that was there and that I follow on Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that, it all come back to the fact that it was kind of like, yay, cool. It's just chilling out and in a queue, talking to people in a queue. Want to go and get some food? Here's a queue. Want to buy some stuff from the store? Here's a queue. Want to go and look at the cabinet with all the new models that are coming out that have just been previewed? I've got to wait in a queue. Terrible. Now, my experience for Warhammer Fest was back at Coventry the last time they did it. And actually, the last time I went to Warhammer Fest was the first Warhammer Fest that they did at Coventry. And it was amazing. The venue was huge. There was it was so well run. And before then, the kind of events that I'd been to were at the Birmingham NEC for Games Day. And again, they were amazing. They were big. There was no queues. Well, there was some queues, but there was so much to do. And here's the problem with Warhammer Fest 2023. There was nothing to do. And the biggest thing missing was kind of what the fans of Warhammer want to see, and that is the creators, the design studio, the painting studio, the army painting studio, the Black Library authors. They want to see these people. They want to talk to these personalities because they're so damn important to the hobby. They're so important. And they're important to us, the fans, because they're the people that create the things we love, and we want to nerd out with them just as much. So that is serious. That is something that Games Workshop need to address. They need to do a U-turn on this faceless corporation bullshit that they're planning, and they need to stop. Now, and you've got to also look at, realistically, there's been, 4 personalities have left Games Workshop and have now pursued a career in social media. You've got Rob, the Honest Wargamer, his partner, the newest one to leave, Louise, now does Rogue Hobbies. You've got Preachy, who's on the painting phase, and you've got Duncan, who is Duncan and does his own thing on YouTube and his paints and his academy and everything else. But the one thing that these 4 individuals do is they still talk about Warhammer. They still nerd out about Warhammer. They still have a love and a passion for Warhammer. They also do other things and talk about other aspects of the hobby, which in a sense is also a really good thing. Because if you're somebody who isn't into Warhammer or has never seen Warhammer and has come across their content and went, that's really cool, and started to watch them and then went, what is that? Looking at a new Lizard Man for Age of Sigmar and not realising what it is and went, that's really cool, and go and investigate, that's your avenue into Warhammer. So they may not necessarily be under contract by Games Workshop, but they're also promoting your product. So Games Workshop need to stop this shit that they're doing, and they literally need to bring these personalities back in. But yeah, the other thing that I've noticed, and this has been quite amusing on my social media feed, is the massive spectrum of opinions on Warhammer Fest 2023. On one side, you have the vast majority of people who have said it's an absolute shit show. You've got the content creators that weren't invited by Games Workshop who have said it was pretty shit. And then you have the content creators that were invited by Games Workshop that have literally said it was the best convention in the world. Some of these content creators have even had the audacity to make little reels of them walking around the event on the Sunday night after it closed, trying out the computer games, looking in the cabinets, trying 10th edition, getting a sneak peek at all of the previews that were going to happen the next day, and generally having all their free food without any queues. Almost like, look at us and fuck you plebs. And that, for me, after the sheer lack of self-awareness here is being mind-bogglingly funny. And it just shows the grifter mentality that some of these individuals have. And some of these, by the way, were the same content creators that were invited to the Heresy Open Day and then started memeing on the Heresy community because the Heresy community was pissed that the Heresy content creators weren't invited to the Open Day for the game that they make content on, and that all these people were invited and they don't make heresy content. Like, the optics there is not very good. But Games Workshop, back onto them, they need to pull their finger out their arse. They need to look at what made Warhammer Fest at Coventry really good. They need to look at what made Games Days really, really good. And they need to get back to that. This over-monetizing for the tickets, bullshit. Like, if you want to sell a premium ticket, sell a premium ticket. But everybody should have access to seminars and being able to walk up to a table and go, hi, what do you do? Well, I design miniatures. These ones right here. Amazing. How does that happen? How does that work? How does one get into doing that industry? Because you've also got to remember is a lot of hobbyists might be quite young and they might be really passionate about wanting to create miniatures. And you're essentially denying them, those children, those future sculptors and painters, the ability to speak to these people that they may idolize and may want to emulate when they get older. And they have the perfect opportunity at Warhammer Fest to go up to their favourite painter or sculptor, like Darren, and sit there and go, hey Darren Lytham, I really love your work. How do I do this? What could I do to learn, and like, what could I do to become a Games Workshop sculptor? You know, this is the kind of thing that they're completely missing out on, because they're not getting that interaction with the younger generations. And it's not necessarily people my age, like, they're just not getting it at all. And it's really bad. It's just, it's a bad state of affairs. And Games Workshop have massively dropped the ball on this one. So that's the video, peeps. I thought I'd do this one a little bit quick because there's been a lot of talk about it online about it. And I figured, you know what, I'll make a video on it as well. And put my 2 cents out there. And I just hope that somebody watches this video at Games Workshop, realize that they've dropped the ball, and the powers that be can turn this around and make next year's Warhammer Fest 10 times better, 100 times better than what the last one has just been. Because it really needs to happen. You need to, this isn't about making money. You're going to make money no matter what. This is about celebrating Warhammer, celebrating the hobby and the passions that we all have for this. That's what this is about, not how much money you can make, because you're going to make bank no matter what, and it's terrible. You need to square that away. So thank you very much for everybody who's watched this. If you agree or disagree, fire it in the comments below. Smash the subscribe button, like the video, and hit the bell so you're notified for any future videos. And we will call it there. And I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye, peeps. Bye-bye.